everybody, and welcome back to the Insert Wisdom podcast, episode number 20. Oh my gosh, I know it's been the longest time since I've recorded an episode, but that's just how we do it around here sometimes. I always have a lot to say, but it's not always, it doesn't always come out in the form of a podcast episode. Usually it's a thread post or a Substack post. But I felt compelled to make a new episode because there are a lot of exciting things happening in the world. This episode comes from a suggestion I got on my Substack from one of my library keepers, Tim. Thank you so much. Because I had posted that I was thinking about recording a new episode, and I asked what I should talk about or what is it that we want to feel tonight. And he said, I think Artemis II and the sense of wonder it's awakening in people would be a great topic. So we're going to talk about this voyage, this expedition. I don't even know what you call it, this flight that NASA is currently doing to the moon. And also, by extension, we're going to talk about Project Hail Mary. There's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to start. It's just so exciting. We have not been to the moon since 1972. That was 54 years ago. And I want to make sure I'm precise with that number because I did make a TikTok video about it. And I accidentally said that we hadn't been to the moon in almost 50 years, but I meant to say over 50 years. Lots of boomers on Facebook were mad at me, but that is neither here nor there. I guess what I'll talk about first is Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I think it won the Goodreads Choice Awards for Best Sci-Fi a few years back. I don't remember the exact date, but it's been on my TBR for a long time. I've never really considered myself to be that into sci-fi. It really just depends on the topic. But I know how incredibly popular it is. So many booktubers talk about it all the time. A few people I watch, it was their favorite book the year that it came out. And so the movie came out a few weeks back, or maybe it's just like a week or two back. I went and saw it in theaters at the Chinese Theater, and I had a really great time. I don't want to have spoilers talking about it in this podcast, but I think everything I'm going to talk about has some mild spoilers. So if that's not something you want to hear, then I guess tune me out for the next minute or two. But this, everything I am going to mention is in the trailer, and I think it's in the synopsis as well. So anyway, but Project Hail Mary is about an Earth that is on the brink of disaster because there are these particles that are eating up the sun's energy at a rapid pace. And in the very near future, the sun is going to go out and people are going to die. Their only hope is a team of astronauts to go to a distant galaxy to find the solution, because there's this one galaxy that is not affected by these particles, and so they have to go there to find out what the problem is. But the astronauts are going to be in a coma the majority of the flight. Well, Ryan Gosling ends up waking up, and his whole team is dead. It's just him. He's not an astronaut. And so it's just about him trying to navigate what to do in that situation. He's incredibly smart. I think he has a PhD. He's a teacher. So it's not like he's just, an everyday guy. But on this mission, he ends up running into another spaceship. And on the spaceship is a cute, sweet little creature named Rocky. And his whole crew as well on that spaceship died. And so they basically have to work together to save not just Earth, but the universe. Their relationship was easily my favorite part of the movie. The fact that they have a language barrier. They don't speak the same language. They don't even see their environment the same way. And they come up with a language to better communicate with one another. I just adored that part of the movie. And I guess that's where I'll stop with the talk about the movie in particular. But I really left that movie feeling like I don't feel very often leaving movies these days. There was just something uplifting about this movie. It was funny, it was heartfelt, the cinematography was gorgeous, the acting was great, it has a great message in it. It feels like one of those once in a, like I would say once in every 10 years a movie comes along like this that it makes people feel good, and it makes them feel good about being alive. It inspires them. And I actually do wonder if they coordinated with NASA to have the release of this movie and the launch to go to the moon happen around the same time. Or I don't know if it's just there's something in the air that's all about exploration and humanity. But either way, the timing is perfect between these two things because on, I think it was April 1st, on a full moon, NASA launched I believe it's just four astronauts into space to go around the Earth and out around the moon and back. And the whole voyage takes about a week to a week and a half, I think. We're not actually landing on the moon, but it's for research. And I just, there's something about this voyage that has captured me and captured so many people around the world, and my whole Threads feed is full of photos that are coming from Artemis II, previous photos that NASA has taken in the past from Artemis I, I think was another one, and just people feeling this sense of awe about this beautiful blue-green ball that we're all existing on. And for me, it's creating this, it's creating so many things within me, emotionally, mentally, creatively. But just one of those things is this thought about how, when you go on a trip and when you're there, you kind of miss your home. You start envisioning yourself walking in your front door and just getting to wind down and relax from the long trip that you've taken. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. I love being at home. I love my home. And I feel like I'm just imagining these astronauts in space right now. They're sending us photos of our planet. And I don't know. I'm like sitting here at my desk, seeing that photo in my head and then feeling myself in my chair right now, just imagining the distance between the two of us. But I'm at home, right? Like planet Earth is home. And they're going farther than any human ever has before. I was watching, I think CBS, was it? Did a live stream of questions with the astronauts in space. And they're going something like 250,000 miles away, which is nuts. Like when I heard that number, I could not fathom that. Fun fact, something I also learned recently with all this talk of space is that you can line up every single planet in the universe between our Earth and the moon pretty much perfectly. There's only a little bit of space left, but they all line up perfectly. Again, just one of those crazy, I'm going to use the word coincidence, even though I don't believe in coincidences. Just one of those crazy coincidences that to me communicates this beautiful design that our galaxy has. The fact that the moon just fits perfectly within the halo of the sun, for eclipses, and so many other factors. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about some posts that I put out on Threads and the photos that have come out. I think that where I'm going to start is, oh, yes, okay. So with this podcast, since it is just audio, unfortunately I can't show you photos, but there was this one post I saw that kind of so much of this has made me emotional. But there's this very famous photograph of a bunch of hands painted on a rock. I should have looked up the name of it before I started recording, but it's from a very long time ago. Human beings printed their hands with these like red, brown, black sort of colors, and it's this gorgeous tapestry of all of these human beings' hands on this rock. And then next to that is the photo that Artemis II just gave us of the Earth from space. And the caption that this user said was, "We've come a long way." And again, it just makes me feel this indescribable feeling that I don't have words for, but the absolute need to know why we're here, finding our space in the universe, finding out who we are, how we exist, orienting ourselves within the cosmos, finding out who we are as people too. Humanity has always been so dialed into wanting to know the answers to those things. Putting their hands on the cave wall to say that I am here, I was here. And that happened thousands of years ago. And then again, if I'm speaking out of turn, I'm sorry that I don't have the precise date, right? Because I did learn this week that some people get hyperfixated on details being right. And I just know that this particular mural was a long time ago. But you juxtapose that with modern times and the technology we have, the ability and ingenuity that we've had and created to be able to go to space and take a photo of our home. And another post that I said about it was, how can you look at the photos coming from Artemis II and not want to protect Earth, not feel full of joy at being here? This is our home. That got 1.3 thousand likes, 40,000 views. The photo of Earth from Artemis II makes me emotional. Yes, it does. But there was another thing that I learned in this whole thing, because it sort of before was just this amorphous awe that happens when I think about this concept. Oh, okay. I guess I have to say this first, though. I also saw this photo. We'll get to the other thing in a second, I promise. I saw this photo. I think it's just an artist rendering of Artemis II's flight path from Earth around and then around the moon and back. And it what I realized while looking at it is that it looks like a treble clef. And I love when there are symbols that we have, or even just the way our anatomy, like our lungs mirror how trees look, or the way our eyes look like nebulas in the universe. There's so many other things too that we can make those parallels between. But I love when two seemingly opposed but intricately linked things collide. There's always this talk about spirituality and religion and how they're, or not spirituality and religion, sorry, science and religion being polar opposites. I don't agree with that. I think that they are the flip side of the same coin in a way. They're speaking the same language. It's just in different terms. I'm not going to go into that with this episode, but then this thing of Artemis II's flight path looking like a treble clef, it's this thing of music and science colliding in such a beautiful way. And this post on my Threads account got 17,000 likes and almost 200,000 views. PBS teachers commented on it, saying combining science with the arts, obsessed. Josh Philpross said, which is funny because this mission is all about that base. Admittedly, I don't know what he means, but I thought that was funny. Oh, we have a siren coming. 1 second. Okay, and we're back. Some people saying this is absolutely going to be turned into a tattoo. There was one person, a school teacher, who said that she wanted to print out the image and hang it on her classroom wall. Oh my gosh. We are just getting inundated with car noises right now. Okay. Sorry if you heard that. Another person said, technically, music is math, so the intersection here is almost poetry. Just so many cool comments and reactions from this. Again, more car noises. Jeez. But I just loved that so much. There these subtle yet profound ways in which the universe communicates with us, and these symbols that show up in seemingly ordinary ways that just, to me at least, communicate this beautiful design that's always working, it's always on, and it's supporting us. Again, just thinking of this blue-green ball floating in space, it supports us. I feel like talking about this, I don't even have words to explain what goes on in my head when I think about the sheer magnitude of space and the universe zooming out into space and looking at Earth and being like, I live there. What does that mean? Like, in the context of everything that's come before, not to quote Kamala Harris or anything, or, everything that's to come, just, it blows my mind. And then I think about how silly it is, the petty things that we choose to pay attention to, like, I don't know, just getting hung up on stupid shit. And I understand that everybody has their journeys, and all of life is life, right? It's important. But if anything, it just fills me with this pervasive sense of everything's good, everything's okay. Like, just being here is a miracle. It's enough. Even with the ups and the downs. And back to what I was starting to say earlier, something I learned this week is that this is something called the observer effect. Let me find the definition for you. So NASA had posted the photo of Earth from Artemis II, and the caption said, "We see our home planet as a whole lit up in spectacular blues and browns. A green aurora even lights up the atmosphere. That's us, together, watching as our astronauts make their journey to the moon." And then Richard Burnaby quote tweeted this and said, "This is called the observer effect, the profound feeling when we view Earth from space, often described as a sudden sense of the planet's fragility, interconnectedness, and the absurdity of political borders. We need more of that. Maybe this mission will help." So I didn't realize that there was a term for this feeling that it gives me when I see these photos of Earth. And funny enough, this pertains to Project Hail Mary, because this next quote that I'm going to read for you. But if you've listened to the audiobook for Project Hail Mary, Ray Porter did the audiobook. And he actually commented on one of my Threads posts recently. And I was kind of awestruck by that. So did Stephen King's son. What is his name? His last name's Hill. We have the same last name. What is his name? I'm totally blanking right now. Joe Hill. My God, I already knew that. It's just all this talk of space has me feeling spaced out. But this is a quote from Edgar Mitchell, who was an Apollo 14 astronaut. "You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics look so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scruff of the neck and drag him 250,000 miles out and say, 'Look at that, you son of a bitch.'" And this is the exact same thing, this frustration, indignity, I think that's the right word, that I have felt before, where it's like I just want to take humanity and shake it and say, wake up. Like, living is the point. Just being here is the point. Existing is the point. This fantastic, incredible ride that we're on, we're not here for very long. That is the point. And, you know, when people say things like what I just said, people start to think like, oh, so there's only this grandiose way to think about it. No, I mean, everything that humanity has to offer is part of the journey. But I think there's a real disconnect that people forget about the magic of being here in the first place. Everybody always at some point in their life is faced with the question, why am I here? And people love to say that it is insignificant, that life here is insignificant, that look how small we are in relation to the rest of the universe. But that is exactly why it's so beautiful and important to love being here and to not take things so seriously. Everybody has their path. Everybody's going to have ups and downs. And that's beautiful too. Like, if you can train yourself, this is something I'm working on, to even in the lows, the quote unquote lows, or things are difficult. Like, you know, I've been hit with some financial shit the past month that I don't know where the end in sight is. I don't know what's going to happen. But if I can train myself to even be happy about that, and get excited about it, even if I dare, then nothing can dim your light. Nothing can take anything away from you. And I think that's why, for me at least, I posted another thread about this. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. With this voyage that Artemis II is on, and then Project Hail Mary coming out, it being a absolute hit, I said, there's something truly hopeful and joyful in the air right now. With Artemis II's flight and Project Hail Mary, it's like we're remembering the wonder of being alive, how amazing this world is, and our place in it. And I think if people just really felt that this beautiful rock in space that we're all on supports everything we could ever possibly need, that anything is possible. I mean, we have people in space right now orbiting this tiny patch of this gorgeous, expansive universe. Why the fuck should we spend time worrying about anything? Again, it's like being alive is the point. Existing is the point. It makes me think of last week when I went swimming in this river on this hiking trail just outside of LA. And I saw these mountains all around me. I posted some photos on Threads if you want to see the photos. But that felt like what life is for, or partly what life is for, just enjoying everything that this earth gives to us. And again, it's like when I see these photos of Earth, and I see films like Project Hail Mary, I think, why would we not want to protect this planet? Why would we not want to be kind to each other, to have empathy, to, like one of the biggest things right now that I don't understand. I mean, I understand it, but I think it's dumb, is the sheer amount of people who are black and white thinking about everything, like making the uncertain certain. And if somebody fucks up on social media or in some public office, a celebrity fucks up, whoever fucks up, this culture that it's like we reject them, we condemn them because of a mistake, instead of having the ability to accept an apology and say, well, they're only human, it's okay, I make mistakes too. This goes into a whole other topic about shame and vulnerability that Brene Brown has brilliant talks about, that I really think humanity needs to wake up a little bit about, understanding that unless you're a sociopath, everybody has a bit of a shame problem. And when you have a shame problem, you numb your emotions, which makes something like vulnerability incredibly scary. And you're not able to be vulnerable, which is, according to Brene Brown and her research, the birthplace of things like joy, creativity, etc., which we need more of in this world right now, which I think is why this whole voyage and Project Hail Mary, Artemis II, is such a breath of fresh air for me. And it's something the planet needs right now. Because when we have these collective moments of coming together, realizing that what we have is precious, that we should work together, that's more healing than anything else. And again, this is probably another topic for another time, but again, it's just like there's so many tangents I could go with this, but, people look at the world and how crazy everything is, right? And they think that they feel powerless almost immediately because they see the sheer magnitude of every fucked up thing that's happening, and they think there's nothing I could do to make this right. It's going to take years for us to overcome this. But what a lot of people don't seem to realize, because again, I'm coming from a place of observing what people are saying on social media, right? they don't realize that if you want to make the world a better place, or you want to help rectify some of these things that are going on, you start with something small, even. Maybe it's just something like if you're concerned about, I don't know, trees being cut down. Well, you could go and plant a tree. You could take care of a tree. You could plant a flower. There are so many little actions that we can do in our everyday lives that do make a difference, because when people are able to wake up to the nature of who they really are and how powerful they really are, how creative, how awe-inspiring, that sends out a much more potent, powerful ripple effect than anything hatred spills out. It really does. And this has been such an inspirational week for me. Just watching all of this unfold, it's reminded me that the greatest joy of my life that I'm realizing is just getting to be myself, just getting to share content with you guys, what I've learned, to show up, to write, be creative, heal whatever issues I have friends, laugh, have fun. If it's not fun, then like, what's the point? That is everything to me. And we get to do it here on this beautiful planet that just recently, with these two topics that I'm talking about, it's hit me full force this week. So I think, God, there's so many other things I could talk about, like with the interview and the questions that they asked. I'm sure there's so many other little stories about the voyage that I could talk about. Like, I think the plushie that was in the interview was something that I should know her name. Christina Koch. I think it was something that her daughter or something gave to her to have in space. I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names, but the 4 astronauts are Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. There's so many other stories that I could talk about, but I think what I'm going to do, because I have a feeling when I look at the watch time of this, it's going to be quite long. But I want to end it with the famous blue dot quote that Carl Sagan said. There's this very famous photo of Earth taken from Voyager 1 in 1990. And Earth is nearly 4 billion miles away in this image. The quote goes like this: "Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you have ever heard of. Every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every member and mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam." I hope that this episode and these 2 incredible things that are happening right now are bringing you a sense of wonder and peace. It really is exciting. Like, I think they're only halfway at this point. No, okay. It's day 3, I think. So we have still a lot to come from them. I cannot wait to see more of what comes out. If you don't follow me on Threads, that is my #1 social media. I post there pretty much daily, My posts go viral all the time. It's so much fun to get to talk to people there. As always, check out the books I have written. Under the Same Sky and The Art of After are both available for purchase if you want. I'll have the link in the show notes, but I also have them linked on my Substack, Threads, basically any social media. I promise you will find it. And consider becoming a patron of the Folklore Library on Substack. My dream is to get to do what I'm doing right now, share my thoughts, have commentary and connection, and just have fun, and to also make a living that way. I also want to say at the end here, Madeline commented this on my post, my note on Threads about podcasting and what I should talk about. She said, maybe try breaching the subject of how to break through psychic barriers to writing fiction deeper than how to overcome writer's block, how to actually break down the blockages. So in my next episode, I will probably go ahead and make episode 21 all about that. I might even record it tonight. You never know. When it rains, it pours, I guess. But thank you so much for listening. I had a really fun time recording this, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye.